today's video, we're going to be analyzing a blitz match that I played against Nihal Sarin. For those of you who may not know, Nihal Sarin is the number 3 rated blitz player on chess.com, regarded as one of the top blitz experts, reaching the final of the Global Chess Championship regularly over 3,200. In the past, I've really struggled against him in blitz, and in this match, in the first 10-15 games, it didn't go so well. We played a 22-game match where I ended up farming him for about 70 points of his rating, preventing him from reaching number 1 in the world and catapulting me to number 7 in the world. Now we're going to be analyzing the match and going into some key games and key ideas so that you guys can learn and see how I fought against one of the best blitz players in the world. I hope that you guys like the new camera and microphone setup. I know that there have been some complaints in the quality, but I think you've got some pretty good quality here. I've got a professional camera setup. As a chess player, it's quite difficult, but hopefully the microphone and camera setup. I really appreciate the feedback and all the comments, so let me know. So anyways, this was the final game. We're going to start with this. So as you can see, the final score was 11.5, 10.5 in his favor. He declined after so many games, I guess not wanting to lose even more rating. After this loss, he had gone under 3,200. However, against Nihal is one of my most difficult opponents in blitz. He has an extremely annoying style, so this was, big progress. So he played the Caro-Kann, he played bishop g4, he traded here, e3, g3, knight d7, bishop g2, normal chess. I developed my piece. Now I could have actually just won a free pawn. I wanted to go h4 first. I thought he was going to go h5, but now I win the pawn again, so he goes h6, I go h5, he goes 95, and suddenly the knight is actually trapped on e5. I think I had won, a couple games in a row at this point. If you look at my, so this was the 3rd game that I had won in a row, so he was already sort of on tilt. The momentum was shifting, and anyways, I won a piece, slowly consolidated. For example, here, it's not like I could win so easily, but eventually I traded the rooks, I won the pawn, I traded the queens, and that was it. So we'll go back at some of the interesting games. This was actually a really amazing game. So he kept playing the stupid system. Nihal in the opening always get terrible positions because of the opening system. I really need to prepare against his weird little systems. It's bishop g5. I just sort of developed my pieces. g6. He's going h4. Knight e5. Played takes knight d7. It was e6. Maybe I should have just taken here. I don't know. h5, then knight e5. I was just sort of afraid. When you play against people who have bad results against, you sort of feel bluffed. But now I just went knight e5, again taking back with the knight. There's no h5. Bishop comes to f4. I just go e5. So you go c3, d7, e5, castle queenside. Usually you'd be afraid of some attack, but the king isn't exactly that safe here. Then I've got d4. He goes a4. I go d4. Takes bishop g2, rook g1, bishop here. Again, I've got the pin. He's got some attack, but the king is still stuck in the center. He goes a5, I take, he goes e4, knight e5, queen c2. I thought that he had to try to keep this bishop, like maybe takes, I don't know, takes, queen c2, or maybe some bishop a6, I don't know. But I was confident that I have 2 bishops, the king is stuck. He shouldn't be able to coordinate his pieces well enough to... Anyways, he goes queen c2, giving up the bishop, I go rook e8, trade, rook c1, bishop e5, takes... And I actually blundered knight c4, completely blundered knight c4. Obviously, if he plays takes, he takes. And I was sitting here like in complete shock, and thankfully I had queen c6. I guess sometimes in blitz, you just trust your intuition, because here, of course, I didn't want to play something like c5 and allow the knight to come in, or b4. So bishop b5, sometimes in blitz, when you're flowing, some of your mistakes are rewarded. So we take c3, I go b5. I thought this was the most direct. I win the pawn, I go c6. Now I have 2 extra pawns, and hopefully, they're all passed. So I thought, and the endgame would be quite good. We go to this endgame. It's very delicate, right? He goes h5. It's not. I don't really want to take, because then he goes f5, and then you got these 2 passed pawns. And the knight is a very good blockader. My pawns aren't really moving yet, so I decided just to go bishop c8, bring the bishop over, and then once these pawns get rolling, they're going to really get rolling. So f4, bishop e6, takes. He goes knight d3. I go bishop c4. Point being that if he plays knight takes, I play d3. And if rook here, I take, and if takes d2, and you can't protect the pawn. You can't stop the pawn queen. He goes knight g6, and now I go rook g1, f5, bishop f7. I thought this was the simplest way, because in this position now I have 3 pawns, and I thought, okay, with 3 pawns I should be able to win. Even eventually I'll sacrifice the rook for the pawn. My pawns will be so far advanced. So it goes e5, rook back d1, king b6, now pushing the pawn, and now again I have 3 pawns. It's just you can win my rook, but these pawns are going to be queening. I take and go c3. Now next I'm going to go d2 or c2, and then let's see, try to defend. I go c2 and I queen. So this would be this was a very nice game. I showed some nice tactics, some nice endgame technique. This one was a bit funny. Basically, he played this stupid system. Like, I don't know what this is, but Nihal has a knack for these weird little knight maneuvers. I just go h3, d4, taking the free pawn, knight to 6c3, knight back to g7. I don't understand. Bishop d3, knight e6, taking the pawn, bishop g7, bishop b5. I trade a castle. Now I've just got a free pawn, just up material. Here I play knight b3. This was probably a mistake. I don't know, maybe I should go here. What should I play? Here I should just go like bishop d4, maybe just to protect the pawn. Oh, knight comes to f4. Okay, anyways. Yeah, knight c1. Oh, if knight c1, if he takes, and then I can take here and take. And if rook takes b2, I have knight d3 forking the queen of the rook. Anyways, he goes this, he goes for queen comes c4, queen g2, queen c4. And here I was just sort of not really sure what to do. I went to b3. Yeah, I should have taken first. Yeah. Because if now takes, now knight comes to d4. Bishop takes d4. And now this rook and this bishop, the attack is absolutely lethal. Because in opposite color bishops endgame, this is an important thing for you guys to remember. That opposite color bishops are amazing for attacking because you just attack on the dark squares and your opponent doesn't have a bishop to challenge those squares. Anyways, I went here, and this was all sort of based on the fallacy. Again, I have c4. So what I basically had imagined was that after bishop f5, the rook is hanging. I just completely forgot that the rook is protected. Still after g4, I'm still not doing okay. d4, rook e5, queen e6, rook e1. Maybe g5 is more precise, but gc takes, okay, queen h6 is the best move, okay. This is impossible, not a very human move. I take, he goes g5, I play queen c4, king and pick, queen c3, I recoup the pawn. Now I'm threatening takes, I'm threatening all sorts, take queen e6 now. Queen f3, queen f4. Not only can I take, but I can also go queen h5 perhaps, rook e2. So yeah, now I should it's actually suggesting that I go back to c3, and then now take on c6. But I'm sure, I was thinking this, but I almost blundered this, so I should probably just take. And then queen c5, and again, the king is just way too weak, and then blitz so hard to defend. Anyways, he goes rook d6, I take, rook h7, and then if he blunders with queen f4, I just take, and check, and I win the rook. So this was a nice sort of last 3 games. Let me see which were there any really interesting games that I won. Let me see. Yeah, this one was a bit weird. This is a bit of a funny concept. So it was a normal Italian. Oh no, I actually want to find that there's a game where yes, this game. This is the best game. So if you guys look at the opening, I slipped king f1 here, and it's just so bad. And knight c3, knight g4. The funniest thing, guys, is after knight g4, bishop g5, I'm actually completely fine. And maybe, honestly, this is actually such a nasty opening trick. Like, I want to play this now. Because I honestly think that so many people will just go knight g5. Knight g4. And after bishop g5, let's say you take. I'll just go queen d2. You can't go f6, queen comes here. Now knight d5 comes, and I'm threatening knight c6. Takes, and the queen is just trapped, So it was so funny that after such a mouse slip that I'm just back. And okay, anyways. Basically, we trade the pieces, we get to an endgame, and I'll go to the critical moment. So we get an endgame, we're moving around, everything's okay. And we get this very complex position with this sort of structure. Okay, I go rook c1, he goes c4, I go knight e3. If takes, I have knight f5. Okay, he goes here, I go rook a1, he goes knight bishop 2, I go rook takes b2. And this was an amazing moment. I was very, very happy with myself here. Because there was some, and these knights pawn structures, it's very, very delicate. So here I actually give up the exchange, and I go knight g4. I don't go in knight c4. I was worried about king here, but I can just go rook c5 and knight d5. But I like knight g4 because if king d6, I have check. So he goes here. I guess c4 first was the most precise. But he gives a check. I go up. He goes check. I play knight e5. It's actually tempting to play check. Now after rook d7 takes, here takes, he has rook c2. Don't really want to go to d4 because give up the pawn. I can go here, g4, and try to go, g5 and knight g4, but closer to a draw. But I actually take. And the point being that after takes, I could go knight c6, take this and whatever, win some Habsburg. But I actually have check. And the point is that, of course, if this, I have check and I win the full rook. If here I go f4, and after rook e2, king f3, he's just getting mated. If rook f8, I have knight g4. And if he goes back, I just take. And in this case, okay, if you try to check, push, I just threaten, it's just checkmate. So if you should run, check. So it's just game over. And okay, if you went here as well, it's the same concept. If d2, for example, I give a check, takes, and push. Pawn to make a queen. So some nice coordination, nice piece domination. Obviously, the match finished 11-10. I think considering how Nihal always, and I mean always, crushes me, and my rating is actually quite low, 3128. I should be at least 3150 at all times, if not 3200. So some good progress, a good match, a lot to learn from. This is how I spent some part of my day. Now I'm going to get into more of my serious training, openings, calculation, all this type of stuff. But I hope you guys appreciate the new camera quality and the microphone. And please like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitter, Instagram for updates. And let's keep training for my next tournament. I'm super motivated and I'm really looking forward to the future.